The steering radius in my car is very shallow. The front tires are very wide. But on top of that, I've never been able to turn quite far enough in my car. So green flag flies, we're zipping in and out of other cars, we run over a puddle of water, we make it. It's like, ah, whew, made it. And then it's like, ah, alright, we made that one. And then we reach turn 5, which is actually, ironically, I guess now I'm thinking about it, the corner that I passed Tom on in the first race. So we reach that corner, and I'm so cocky, so confident, shifting my gears, smooth transitions, whipping in and out of cars. I dive in a little hot because I'm like, haha, watch this, old man. Oh my god. I was literally thinking that. It's like, watch me run away from you in this rain. Oh shit! And it happens in slow motion. It's literally that slow. You see it happening, I immediately cocked it, and I swear I spun that slow. But there's just nothing you can do about it. So I'm incredibly embarrassed. And I didn't spin all the way around. The car just whipped sideways, my front tires were in the grass. And, you know, I'm panicking. You know, you're shaky. You're ready to like, oh, fuck, you know, I gotta get back going. I'm gonna preface this with, it took me 2.5 minutes to get the car restarted. And I was like, oh my god, what am I doing wrong? I'm just cranking it, hitting that starter button. This car will not refire. It gets close, but it does not refire. So I'm like, is it a voltage issue? Did I lose my motor because we had the oil pressure issue the next day? I have 100 questions running through my head. So at one point, and I think it's in the video, I just throw my hands up and I start going like this. And I literally slap off every single switch in my car, and I'm going to start from scratch. My father was making fun of me the other day, and he was like, yeah, what'd you do? Reach down and get the owner's manual out and start, you know, reading how to race a race car. And like, yeah, at that point I did, because it's like, car was running, car went sideways, car no restart. So I'm like, alright, so what happened between A and B to where car no restart? So in our race cars, there's a lot of redundancies. So a lot of the electrical issues, if you have like an electrical fan that goes out, you have a second fan that you can switch to make sure your brakes don't overheat. Same goes with the ignition system. And it just so happened that when I reached to hit that start button, that I bumped the switch to went from MSD box 1 to MSD box 2. There's no MSD box 2. And it took 2.5 minutes to figure it out, because it just absolutely went fire. I mean, it makes sense thinking back out of it, but when you're in the shit, it just, I'm like, oh, why car no start? You know, really revert back to that lizard brain mentality. But we had removed MSD box number 2 because it just wasn't necessary. Very rarely do you have an MSD box failure. So when I went to hit the start button, I switched it from MSD box 1 to 2, and 2 just didn't exist. It wasn't there. So after I, you know, did my little fit and switched off all the switches, I was like, oh my god, there's no way that I did that. And I've been trying to start it without an ignition system. And at the time, the corner worker, because I spun right in front of a corner worker, he was talking to me, and he's like, hey, we got you a flatbed coming, don't worry, sit tight. And I see out of the corner this flatbed coming, I'm like, there's no way this is going to end this way. This weekend was way too shitty for it to end this way. And then as soon as I saw that switch, it was like, oh my god, no way. I got excited. I'm hitting the fuel pump reset button, and I flicked it down. Barely touched the starter, because I just flooded the engine with fuel. And it just exploded with life. And I was like, and even the look on the corner worker is like, oh my god, you did it! Like, go get him! But, you know, this took like 2.5 minutes. And in racing time, that's years. Like, he's years ahead of me. Very rarely do you make up like 2.5 minutes. So I throw that bitch in reverse. I do a reverse burnout, and I'm back on, and I'm slamming through gears. And then I realize, oh, son of a bitch, I switched off every damn component in my fucking car. So it's like, yeah, car running fine, but like then I switch. I don't know, 32 switches on the right side of the dash that all switched off. And you know, when you're driving at 180 miles an hour, you can't afford to look away from the road very long. So it took me about 3 laps. I'd be like, all right, straight away, click. Can I do one more? Oh, no, gotta turn. But there's two really long straightaways there. So on each straightaway, I'd do one switch. One switch. It took me 3 laps to make sure that like my cooling pumps, my fan pumps, my helmet blower, my cool shirt, stuff that's necessary to make the car survive that long was switched on. And then on the last lap, or the last lap of, playing with the switches, I was like, all right, cool, they're all on. And then I was like, all right, now I'm just really going to chase him.